Let's enter an observation. So once you've logged into the Adaptive BBS software, the first icon on the very far left is Enter Observation. So you'll click on Enter Observation and you'll come to a page that looks like this. Let's start at the top and work our way down. The first box is the date box. Go ahead and click in the date box and it's going to default to the current date and the current time. So when you click on the date, it will enter that date. Maybe you're entering an observation from last week or the week before, a few days before. You can select any date you want from the calendar, or you can type it in as well. And you can also type in your time. So I'm going to pick today's date as the default, and then you can again change your time. The next box down is your location. These are the locations that you have access to. So I'm going to pick my org or my location. And then the next box down is you'll be able to select your checklist. Now you may have access to several checklists and you may have access to just one checklist. So I'm going to pick my checklist. The next box down is the observer. So you're going to pick your observer name. You can either scroll through the list or you can type in the first name and then it'll bring up all the Billies and I can select Billy Rose. I can type in the last name and it will pull up any name that's got Rose in it. So I can again select Billy Rose. The other thing I can do is I can search by the employee ID number and it will bring up that employee with their number that I typed in. Now you'll notice when I selected the checklist, it automatically populated the area and department. And that's because it remembers the last time I entered an observation, I selected this area and I selected these departments. But I'm going to take those out and then I'm going to click in area and you'll see that you've got different selections here. So you can pick your area if you have an area available on your checklist. Not all checklists will have an area. Not all checklists will have a department. But if you do, you've got the option to select your areas and your departments. And you may also have shifts. So you can select shifts if that box is available to you as well. If you've selected the wrong thing, you can click the X and select the correct item that you want in the list. The last box on this particular checklist is a free text box for an overall observer comment for the entire checklist that you're entering here. So you can add a comment here, just type in the box, and then that's everything on the left side. Now let's move to the right side where our checklist categories, our checklist name is at the very top, BBS Ergonomics, and that's the checklist we selected over here in the drop down. And then these are our behaviors or exposures, whichever you call them. And you can number them. They can be numbered. So our first one is 8.01, body position, back posture. And then you'll just come down, read through, and select them as either safe or at risk. If you select one at risk, it might pop up in a comment box. Again, it's a free text box where you can type in your comment for your at-risk behavior or exposure for this specific behavior exposure. So your 8.03 overextension, you can put in a comment as to why it was an at-risk behavior. And then when you're finished, save. Now, if you've made a mistake and you need to not select this as an at-risk. Just click it again. So click on and cancel, click off, or safe. Click on, click off. And you don't have to answer all of them, just the ones that apply to the observation that you're entering. Now you'll also notice that there are some icons that appear to the right anytime you select a safe or an at-risk. And the two bubbles here are the comment box for this exposure. So again, you can leave a comment whether it's safe or at risk here. The other icon with the cloud with the up arrow is an upload file button. So if you click on it, you can select a file and insert one here. I can upload a PDF file. I can upload another file. I can upload multiple files. So I'll upload a Word document. So I've got a PDF and I've got a Word document both, and I'll save. So once it's saved, you'll see now I have two uploaded documents here. If I want to see those, I can click on the cloud and it will bring up both documents. I can preview those documents here by clicking on the icon, or I can delete them if I need to delete them. So you can add more, you can delete, and you can look at the ones that you uploaded. And that can be any kind of file. It can be a PDF or a Word document. Most times people will upload photos here that relate to an observation or exposure. So again, go through the checklist and mark all of your safes and at-risks. You also might have other options here with a barrier button or an NA button. So you may have 3 or 4 more selections here with barrier and NA. So once you're finished, the other thing that you can do here, there's a search box. So let's say you've got quite a lengthy checklist and you're looking for just one observation. You can type in a word and it will find that one that might be at the bottom of your list, so you can mark it as a safe or at risk. And then just remove it from the search box and your entire checklist will come back. Then when you're finished, everything looks the way it should on the left side and on the at-risk and safe side. Then you can either submit or you can submit and stay. Submit and stay, if you click that, it's going to save this observation, but it's going to keep all your answers. So you're going to see that your safe, stay, and all your information here on the left stays. So this is a nice idea if you, let's say, get a phone call or somebody walks into your office and you're in the middle of entering, you can submit and stay and it will save it. It will assign it an observation ID number. And then it will also allow you to delete it if you've accidentally entered a duplicate. And then when you're for sure done that you're finished with your observation, checking it over, then you can click update. This is going to save your observation and then it will clear out your safes and at-risks, and it will also place it on the observation list. This is where you're going to go find your completed observations.